Thank you, everybody, and welcome. My name is Sally Elatta, and I am the CEO and founder of a company called AgilityHealth. I'm also very passionate about business agility and also measurement and continuous improvement. I've been in the Agile space for a very long time. Yes, I have my channel on YouTube. agilevideos.com is also where you can see about 200 different videos. So if you're new to Agile, or if you work with a lot of people that are new to Agile, agilevideos.com has a ton of videos that they can watch to learn. So I've been in this space for a long time, Fabio, and to be honest, I've seen the transformation of organizations. And one of the things that I'm passionate about now is really helping organizations take Agile to the next level. So really, we talk a lot more now about enterprise agility. And it's no longer just Agile for only the technology teams, but we need our leaders to be transformed. We need our portfolio to be transformed. We need the executives to come on board, because the ultimate goal isn't Agile. So that's not our end result, is to adopt DevOps or Agile. The end result is really business agility. And business agility, the definition of that, I really worked with this with Evan Laybourne from the Business Agility Institute, which is the ability to learn and pivot, deliver at speed, and thrive in a competitive market. Because gone are the days where large companies can now beat the small companies. Today, fast companies beat the slow. So that will be my session. I want to give you a little bit of a tour around business agility, but I want to take you into measurement and continuous improvement. And I'm going to zoom in to focus on teams. How do we measure the health of teams? How do we know if they're really operating well or not? And how do we use that data-driven approach to accelerate your transformation? So that's going to be my topic today. And I will share my screen. So let me know when everybody can see it. And I will go into full screen over here. All right, can you see okay, Fabio?
Yeah, we're
okay.
seeing.
All right, wonderful. So enterprise agility, which is really what we're after, right? We don't want just one team to be Agile. We want our entire enterprise agility. It really starts with healthy teams. A little bit about my background, I kind of already told you this, but I am actually originally from Sudan in Africa. I grew up, I left Sudan when I was 4 years old, and I went to Scotland and England. I lived there for several years, and I lived in Saudi Arabia, and I came here to the United States about 25 years ago. And this is my beautiful family. This is Sharif, Noor, and Yara, and this is my husband, Cal. And again, what our company is known for is the AgilityHealth measurement platform, agilevideos.com, which is sort of e-learning. So how can we learn Agile quickly? And also our business agility model. So those are the three things that people know about us, and I'm excited to be here with you today. So again, what is business agility? It is the ability to adapt to change. As you guys can imagine, COVID, that has really disrupted us. There's so much change happening right now. Every company is having to pivot and think about, what am I learning about my old business model and what is not going to work anymore? And this is exactly what business agility was created for. It's also the ability to deliver at speed and thrive in a competitive market, because gone are the days where big companies eat small. Today, the fast is really eating the slow. Your ability to learn and deliver faster than your competitors is really your competitive advantage. And so to do this, we see organizations going through a journey, as we call it, the transformation journey towards business agility. It usually starts with team agility. It really starts with the organization adopting Agile, Scrum, Kanban, bringing teams to sit together or work together remotely, bringing in Agile tools such as Jira or Rally or whatever your Agile tool is, or Azure DevOps. And so what we do as a company to help them is really make sure that you can measure the maturity and the health of your Agile teams, and even waterfall teams. You have to measure and know, where am I today? We also believe it's very important to enable self-learning, because there will never be enough Agile coaches to help all of the teams. And so we have to teach teams how to learn and how to help themselves. And that's why it's very important to create a model that's scalable and that has resources and videos and measurement, so that teams can learn on their own how to improve and grow after they do an assessment. And then it's also important to develop talent. So Scrum Masters, product owners, agile managers, developers. There's also new roles that are starting to form around data scientists, people that understand AI, machine learning. So knowing how do I develop my talent, this is all part of team agility. And then an organization begins to focus on team of team. Team of team is, my objective is not to create one high-performing team. I now have 7, 8, 9, or 10 teams, but they all are working on a common product, and they all have to deliver together. And so this is where scaling Agile comes in. Whether you use scaled Agile safe or any of the other scaling models, this is all about how can we plan together, how can we deliver, how can we manage dependencies or eliminate dependencies completely. How can we improve DevOps maturity, right? How can we improve our technical maturity? And then this is also where we really want an organization to focus on leadership and culture, because the role of managers, the managers that lead all the teams, is completely changing. I'm sure all of you guys know this, but managers before, their job was to move people around, to do a lot of firefighting, and to be very tactical. Today, we want managers to remove obstacles, and we want them to focus on talent development, and we want them to build strong communities of practice. We don't want managers day-to-day solving day-to-day problems for teams anymore. And then the next area of maturity becomes organizational agility. And so you'll see a lot of large enterprises right now that are in that area of saying, guys, we fix delivery, like the teams know how to deliver, but the top of the funnel is broken. How we prioritize all of the initiatives that are coming, the 1-year planning cycle that does not break work down into smaller chunks. A lot of what executives do is they plan based on deliverables, and they have a fixed budget that's project-based. So all of that has to change when you move to lean portfolio management. You have to be more outcome-driven. What's the business value of what I'm trying to deliver? And this is where OKRs, objectives and key results, and outcome-based planning and quarterly planning become very important. And then also value stream design. Value stream design is really around removing all the dependencies. If I need business teams and technology teams and product teams to work together to deliver on an outcome, then I need to redesign my organization. Even if it's a virtual design, I don't have to change reporting structure, but I need to reallocate people and reorganize them so they can work together. And also lean product maturity and lean startup and design thinking. You'll see a lot of companies right now that are moving from project management to product management. What does that really mean? It means that we're moving away from start and stop of projects, start and stop of teams. Teams used to come together, but now they're all disseminated, and then I have to reprioritize and bring, let's say Adam or John or Fabio is awesome, so I have to keep pulling him into every single new priority project. We want to move away from that. We want to have stable teams that are always working on a common product that has a roadmap and a vision, and we just keep changing their backlog, but we allow the team to stay together and have a roadmap. All right, operational agility. This is really about customer seat at the table. And this is where really you want to bring in your business partners. So HR, sales, marketing, talent development, all of those things become non-negotiable part of the journey. We are no longer talking about Agile for software delivery teams. We are really talking about enterprise business agility. And what do we really mean by that? We really mean when you arrive at enterprise business agility is when you can anticipate your customers' needs. You're no longer taking orders. You're no longer saying, hey, what do you want me to work on? What's your requirement? Please, tell me what your requirement is. You're actually staying ahead of the market. You are disrupting your market before being disrupted, and continuous improvement becomes part of your DNA. So I hope you really like this journey. I've shared it with a lot of executives, and it really resonates with them, and you're welcome to share it as well. It really resonates with executives when they see that DevOps, business agility, HR, talent, Agile, safe, scaling, all these methodologies are coming together to really achieve an objective of enterprise business agility. And at the bottom, what I have here for you is we can measure what matters. And what we mean by that is focusing on outcomes, maturity, and performance. So outcomes are results, maturity is qualitative metrics, and performance is quantitative metrics. So those are the 3 metrics that matter, and those are the 3 metrics that I'm going to try to show you today is how do you bring those 3 metrics together. The other thing that I want to also talk about is if you see what's the end result of an enterprise agility transformation, it is to achieve flow, value, and quality. So I hope this is helpful. Fabio, do you have any questions, or anybody from the audience here has questions about this journey? And then I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to just focus on team agility today. And in the future, we can talk a little bit more. Sounds good?
Hi, Sally.
Yeah.
You can keep on.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so what are the measurement challenges? The measurement challenges that we normally face, honestly, is clarity.
Sorry, Sally. Sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. We'll go back to the journey.
Okay. When we see the business agility journey, the impression is that we have a flow to follow. The step one, next to step two. But this is the correct impression?
No, it's not. Actually, very good question. I'm going to take you real quickly here to our website. And in the website, because I can make it dynamic, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, when you go to the website, do you see?
I provocate that to clarify for the participants.
Yeah, do you guys see them turning?
Yep.
Yeah, so these are gears, they are not steps. We do not want you to start with team agility and then do team agility and then do organizational. What we're trying to show you here is business agility is going to require all of them. It's going to require all these wheels to turn together. And if one of those slows down, especially team agility, like let's say as an organization, we're like, yes, we're doing Scrum, we're doing SAFe, let's just focus on portfolio management. If any one of those slows down, it slows down the rest of the journey. Did that answer your question, Fabio?
Wonderful. Thank you, Sally.
Yeah, no problem. So the top measurement challenges are really clarity and alignment. So first of all, if I say we want to improve DevOps, I have to have a common definition of DevOps than you do. And so that's one of the biggest problems that we see in companies is they don't have a common definition. What does a healthy Agile team look like? What does DevOps look like? What does lean portfolio? And so that's what the radars really are about, is just we need to just have a maturity roadmap on what does good look like, what does great look like. Then we need to actually take time to measure. Everybody's so busy getting work done, like just deliver, that pausing to take time and improve and measure is not being, that's actually not strategic when you don't pause to measure and improve. And then once you measure, what you're going to identify is there are areas for improvement. And so you now have to make time as a leadership team and as a team to actually intentionally grow. And the most important part of measurement, this is like the most important thing that you should remember from this webinar, is if you ever use measurement or metric to punish or reward the teams, you will never see the truth again. Let me clarify that again. If you ever use any of the data that I'm going to show you right now, or any data that you have today, and you use it to punish or reward the teams, teams can game and they can change any data. So it's very important that data is being used to help people grow. It's really for continuous improvement and growth, but never to punish or to reward. Even the managers, like if you give a manager a bonus, if all of your teams, they achieve fly level maturity by next year, then I'm going to give you a bonus, then you're going to see that all of the teams are going to achieve fly because you've created a reward system with that. So that's very, very important as well. There are a lot of different measurements at different levels. And today I'm going to focus a little bit more on the team health radar, but I did want to share with you, and I'm just going to go here so you can actually see them better, that there are different things that you should measure at different levels. So I'm going to share with you here some of the radars. So team health is the most popular assessment and radar because we've had thousands of teams use it. And this is really a great one at the team level because I am trying to understand if my team is healthy or not. And I'll go through this in more detail. A new one that we just released is the remote work. How well are we working remotely, especially now with COVID? At the program level, which is that team of team level, we have DevOps, right? I really want to mature and improve DevOps. I want to improve my release train and my maturity around scaled agile. Maybe it's product management that I'm trying to improve, or maybe it's just program management. We just refer to it as programs and we want to assess that. At the enterprise level, we have our enterprise business agility assessment, which really is at the portfolio and it measures a little bit of everything. It measures your customer seat at the table, portfolio management, organizational structure, agile culture. but you wouldn't do this at the team level. You would really do it with a senior leadership team that is running a transformation, and they want to know, where am I today? What have I already done? I've invested in so many of these areas, but where am I, and what should I invest in next? So this is a really great one to do at the top-down level. And then at the individual level, you know, you might have managers and leaders, you have agile coaches, you have scrum masters, product owners. What's important though, is when you create a strategy, you have to know which one of those do I want to use when. And we like to think about everything in a quarter. Every 3 months, I am measuring and improving at different levels. And what is it that's a priority for me right now? Am I focused on talent development? Or am I focused on making sure teams are healthy? Or am I focused on rolling out SAFe or rolling out DevOps? What is it that I'm focused on? That would be where I basically pick and see which radar do I want to use. So the team health radar, I'm going to walk you through it very quickly here. The team health radar's purpose is really to see if a team is doing well. And of course, it can be rolled up across multiple teams. But what does a healthy team really look like? It really means that we are focusing on their clarity. So does this team have clarity on their vision and purpose and on their outcomes? And we really like to talk about outcomes, not just deliverables. Do they know what the value is of what they're delivering? Does this team plan? And do they know if they're planning well at the weekly, monthly, and quarterly level? And does this team have clarity on their roles and responsibilities? And are they T-shaped? T-shaped means that they are generalizing specialists, that I am a specialist, but I'm willing to help other team members around my specialty area. And I'm not just gonna say, look, I'm only a backend developer, so that's all I'm gonna do. I am willing to learn maybe some middle tier, some front end, whatever I need to do to help my team. We also wanna make sure that the team is performing. And so how do we measure performance? We measure performance 2 ways. One of them is the confidence. We call it the gut check. How does the team feel about how they're doing? Does the product owner feel confident that this team is going to meet the current goals? Does the team members feel like they're going to meet the current goal? What about the outside stakeholders, people outside of the team? Do they feel that they're going to meet the current goals? And then from a measurement perspective and metric, there are 5 metrics that we gather. Those are quantitative, and they are predictability, time to market, value delivery, quality, and responsiveness to change. The leadership team should be healthy, and the leadership team is the scrum master or the team facilitator, the technical leads within the team, the product owner, the managers that manage the team. They should also be behaving and be supporting the team in a healthy fashion in order for this team to be healthy. And then there's also the culture, and the culture is what we call that layer below the surface. Are the people happy? Do they collaborate well? Do they trust and respect each other? Are they creative and innovative? And do they hold each other accountable? And then there's the foundation of agility. The foundation is, are we working at a sustainable pace, or are we burning out? Do we have technical excellence? Do we plan and estimate? Do we have all of the right agile meetings? Is this team the right size, and do they have the right skills? And are you letting them stay stable? Are you allocating them, or do you keep pulling people in and off the team? And what about their workspace environment? Are they allowed to work together online or in person collaboratively? So this is the team health radar. Any questions about these? We call these competencies. This is what we measure in terms of, do we have a healthy team or not? And we, by the way, we measure this against business teams and technology teams. One of our new customers, all of their teams are in the oil industry. And so they basically, they do the same assessment, but the questions change to be more business friendly.
Sally?
Yeah.
When people are probably frightened when they see this amount of radars, is there resistance to carry out the assessments? How to overcome these barriers at the team level? So people don't like so much to answer assessments and questions.
Sure. Yeah, that's a very good question. So remember, at the team level, they would only be using one radar. It's the team health radar, right? You're not going to have the team do all of those assessments. That's not going to be feasible. One of the things that we've learned, Fabio, is that surveys are fatiguing. If all of the assessments that you do is you just send a survey out and people have to answer it at their desk, honestly, we call that old school. That's an old school way of measuring and
Yeah.
improving. So what we
Yeah.
recommend is facilitated retrospectives. Facilitated retrospectives means that I would bring the team together in an online session, just like we're doing right now. I'm going to walk them through the radar so they understand what this radar is about. I am going to share with them that all of their results, as you can see over here, are anonymous. So I'm going to tell them, please be very open and honest. Okay, it's a strategic retrospective. We will only do it once a quarter, once every 3 months at the end of the release. But I really want you to be open and honest with your responses because it's anonymous and everybody's going to be a dot on this radar. During that same retrospective, Fabio, we have people answer the questions. The radar is real time, so it shows up immediately after they answer the questions. And then you, as a certified facilitator, whoever's in the company that got certified, facilitates the conversation, right? The conversation amongst the people of, hey, why did somebody vote a 10 over here and somebody voted a 1 down over here? What is it? Like what, there are some people on the team that have strong visibility to the vision and goals and outcomes, and some people on the team don't know what our vision is and what our outcomes. Let's have a conversation about that. And then in that same session, we have them identify 2 things or 3 things that they as a team want to work on to improve in the next quarter. So that session, which is a facilitated retrospective, is the power of what we do. It is not sending out surveys for people to complete at their desk, because that's what we just call data collection. And metrics with no action is worthless data. Sending people a lot of surveys for them to fill out is not actually actionable. But having people come together, visualize the results, have a conversation, make it safe, and let them decide what they want to work on, what are the areas that they want to improve on, that's the magic sauce that we've seen. It's a good question, Fabio.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sally. Thank you. I totally agree with you.
So that's really, and what we find is that the data is powerful. The data shows you if people are aligned or if people don't even see eye to eye. Somebody told me one time as a team member, how can we solve a problem if we don't even agree that there's a problem? And so that's what the radar does, is it makes them view, where is it that we have a problem and do we agree? And then what is it that we want to do to improve? And so here's an example of a team before and after. So this is one quarter and this is the following quarter, so you can see that their results grew, but you can also see that they're more aligned. The gray shading actually got less because they started to be more aligned. They had more consensus around their answers. This is a perfect example, this radar, of a new team or a team that doesn't know where they are. They might have been doing Agile for a while, but people are in so many different places. And this is a team that's now, so we call that team more forming or storming. And this is a team that's starting to go to norming and performing. Some of the things I just wanted to share with you, like lessons learned for us, is that when you see a wide range of responses, when people are kind of all over the place, that is usually an indication of either there are new team members that just joined and they might not have visibility, or not everybody's talking to each other. There's a few team members that are maybe really well aligned with the product owner, they have data, but maybe the testers, the backend developers, maybe we're not communicating to them. So that's why it could also just mean that there isn't alignment around what does good really look like. If you see high scores like this, like everybody votes a 10 or everybody votes a 9, Fabio, what do you think that could mean when everybody rates everything high?
Sorry, Sally.
What do you think it means? And actually anybody in the chat, so anybody can answer this, please. What do you think when all of the team members rate everything very high? What does that tell you? What could that be an indication of, that pattern?
It sounds some weird to me. Sounds weird. Yeah.
Sometimes that's
sounds that this team don't need to improve anything. It's so weird.
Yeah, there could be a culture of fear. They could be very afraid to say that maybe they're not doing well because they're going to be punished for it. And so they've all decided that they really want to say that everything's going well. So those are some of the things to look for, because yes, this is not real when everybody says that everything is going well. The other pattern is when we have high consensus. High consensus is good. High consensus means that a lot of people agree that there's a problem, either it's high or low. And then sometimes you might see some low scores where everybody is high, but one person is low, like one person rated something low. That is actually, don't ignore that, because that might be the one person that's unhappy or that knows the truth or that wants. So we always say in Agile, like, even the person that's the outlier is important, their voice matters. So you really want to dig deeper and find out, why is there somebody unsatisfied or unhappy in that specific area? Something I also wanted to share with you.
Sally,
Yeah.
sorry. This all partners is really interesting, because these are opportunities to improve the team.
Of course.
Because there shows up some problem with the team.
Yeah.
So really opportunity.
Those are real, and you're using data. You're not using my feeling, you're not using my gut feel, you're not using Adam said, you're using real data to find opportunities. Something that I wanted to share with you is correlation. A lot of people ask me and say, Sally, what impacts what, or what could be correlated with what? And so I wanted to share with you here a couple of them, but let me go to the actual radar so you can see it a little bit better, because it's better when I show it to you in the radar version. So I'm going to go here into one of the teams. And let's just go into, I think, this diversification diva, for example. And I want to share with you what we call the correlation analysis. And I don't know if this radar is the best one, but I'll at least share with you which competency impacts what other competency. So one of the things that we've seen in the data is that predictability, predictable delivery, which is, I really want teams to deliver predictably, has a very strong correlation with allocation and stability. So if your teams are not staying together, if you keep pulling people off and on, if you keep changing roles, it's going to be very hard for them to have predictable delivery. The other thing that also is very strong related to predictable delivery is planning. If my teams do not have a really good iteration plan, and they don't have a good release plan for the next, so like maybe I don't know what I'm doing the next 2 weeks, but I also don't have a lot of clarity on what I'm doing for the next quarter, you're also going to see predictability be impacted by that, okay? So those are just a couple of things that we've seen. The other interesting correlation is quality. Quality has a high correlation with sustainable pace. So sustainable pace is when teams are burning out. And so when sustainable pace is low and teams are burning out because they're working so hard, then you're not going to see high quality. Why? Because they're delivering so quickly. And also technical excellence. If teams don't have automation, if they don't have the right tools, the right processes, you're all going to see quality escape defects in production. Another correlation that's interesting is value. Teams that have strong value delivery usually have good high scores on vision and purpose and goals and outcomes and measures for success. The other interesting correlation is, generally speaking, we found that when clarity is low, like when teams don't have clarity, usually you need to scroll down and look at your leadership team. Either the product owner scores are low, the scrum master scores are low, somebody in the leadership team is not providing clarity. The teams don't know where to go. So I can tell you a lot more, but I just wanted to share with you some of this because I really believe in being data-driven and not just being gut feel about our transformations, and using data across many teams to make decisions about where should I invest my money, where should I invest my time. And so this is your time, your quiz. So everybody that's listening here, I want you to tell me if this was your program. Every line here is a team, right, in the radar, and this is the result of this program or this product line. 8 different teams, we rolled up their data. Where do you think are the problems? What do you see over here as some of the problems? So go ahead in the chat and just looking at this radar, looking around. I know some of the text is small, but where do you see some of the problems that are happening here? And Fabio, can you read me any of the responses that are coming? I hope people are not shy. I hope they're engaged.
For sure. We have some answers already. Trust and respect the problem. Leadership. The engagement of PO, product owner.
Yes.
Culture dynamics.
Culture
clarity
dynamics.
planning.
Yes.
Clarity planning. take some votes.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, team. I don't have a lot of Agile coaches and I don't have a lot of money. Let's just say I don't have the ability to solve all these problems. Which problem do you think I should start solving that could be the root cause that is creating the other problem? So like from what I had shared with you a little bit ago, which one of these areas do you think that if I zoom into and I solve, it could solve some of the other problems as well? What do you think?
We have leadership, one more vote.
Yep. Yeah, very good. Remember how I told you that low clarity is usually a sign that we need to work on leadership below. And so if we focus on the role of the product owner, and definitely some of the managers as well, not all the managers, but some of the managers, we probably are going to lift up our scores on clarity and planning and everything. So this is exactly, now don't get me wrong, culture, you got to get for culture, because if the teams don't trust and respect each other, if there's negative culture, you have to coach on that as well. But that's this is what we mean by using data to make decisions, is I really want to look at the data and I want to understand where should I invest my time and effort. So I took you through a journey. I know it's very late and I know you're probably tired and I'm talking about metrics, but I just really want you to leave this webinar appreciating the value of measurement. And everything that I showed you was really around maturity, right? So this is the maturity. On the right side of the radar, there is performance. And performance, we normally gather performance data through integration. So we integrate with Jira, with Rally, with version 1. Or we sometimes ask quantitative questions to the Scrum Master, and they're the ones that answer the questions. And then we also have the outcomes dashboard, which is the OKR. So for every team, for every product, you can click and see what is my maturity, what is my performance, and what are my outcomes, and am I actually achieving them or not? We've already talked a little bit about this, but this was the question that you asked me, which is, you know, bringing people together, making sure that it's a facilitated retrospective. People complete the assessment together. They analyze the result and actually have conversations together, and then they build growth plans together. Again, this is not surveys. We don't recommend just sending out surveys. We really believe in facilitated retrospective. This has had a lot of success for us. When we used to do it in person, we used to use big room retros. If you guys are familiar with big room planning is when you, or multi-team planning, is when you bring several teams together and they do a planning session. We do retrospectives the same way, but now we also do them virtually online. So now you can obviously bring everybody online in Zoom, and you can still do breakout sessions, breakout rooms, and bring people together to answer the questions, and then you break out into 5 or 6 or 7 teams, and then you have a facilitator for each one of those teams that walks the radar, facilitates the conversation, and builds the growth plan. Why do we like big room retros? Well, we like this technique because if it's only 1 or 2 teams, you don't have to do that. But if I have 50 to 100 teams, like some of our customers, honestly, they have thousands of teams that go through this. And so if you have hundreds of teams that need to do this process on a regular basis, then having a multi-team retro session, especially if they can learn from each other, is quite valuable. And it also creates some positive energy because they learn from each other. And then this part is really about measuring improvement. So are we actually getting better over time or not? A lot of executives have told me they're tired of paying millions of dollars for transformations and hiring consultants and not seeing the results. And I think part of our mission and vision has been to make transformations measurable and make them sustainable. And so we do want to be able to share and show if leadership, if culture, if performance really has improved over time or not. And the other thing that I want to share here before we continue is measurement with no action is worthless data. And so when the teams are doing their retrospectives and they're identifying team growth items, one of the things that we ask them is, what do you want your managers to help you with? Where can your leaders, what obstacle can your managers and your leaders help you with? And that creates a different backlog. And that is what we call the organizational obstacle backlog. And then those managers and coaches and leaders, if they also get stuck, then they move it up and call it enterprise obstacles. And those are where senior executives and leaders need to address and remove these issues. So I've always said that any organization, what they want is they want their teams to align and achieve outcomes, business outcomes. But what I tell them, then what you have to do is remove obstacles. If you as a leadership team are not committed to continuous improvement, and if you're not going to be removing obstacles for the team, then how do you expect the teams to improve? So again, measurement and continuous improvement, they really go hand in hand. So please just remember that from here, in that this is how to accelerate the team's performance. Now, because we have done thousands of these for so many teams, I wanted to share with you the 4 areas that we always see as problems, or kind of this is how we organize a lot of the improvements. We organize them into 4 buckets. One of them is called Agile. So Agile enablement is when you start to see that the team doesn't have role clarity, they don't know how to estimate and plan, they don't have basic story writing skills, they're not following the basic Agile process. And so we kind of put all of that into one bucket, and we make sure that coaches and Scrum Masters can actually begin to coach and help the team here. Another bucket is technical agility and tools. And so we see a lot of problems related to teams having test automation issues, DevOps, technical skills, not having access to the tools, not knowing how to use them. And so having environment issues, performance challenges. And so we put them all into one bucket, and we have technical leads and DevOps coaches coach the teams and help them remove these obstacles. Culture and leadership is usually skill gaps, talent development problems, people problems, negative team dynamics, change management, the people part of the issue, people coming in and out of the team too frequently, the team's not being stable, I don't have enough resources, all those different things, we put them in the culture and leadership. And then we also see a lot of conflicting priorities, dependency management, you're changing your mind, you're not telling me your acceptance criteria. Those are all product and program. So we recommend that you build a continuous improvement leadership team. We call them a CI, leadership team. And that continuous improvement leadership team organizes all of these obstacles into these buckets, but then they divide and conquer so that they can actually address and remove them. Another thing that we're really excited about that we just, I don't know if you were familiar with this, Fabio, but it's the growth portal. And the growth portal is if the team, for example, is really stuck on, I don't know, goals and outcomes, quarterly planning, roles and responsibilities, they themselves, if they don't have somebody to help them, they can obviously see the questions, which is crawl, walk, run, fly, but they can go to the growth portal, and we highly recommend that you help teams help themselves, right? Because I am never going to have enough Agile coaches to go to all teams and help all teams. And so if I'm a team and I'm having a problem with roles, then I want to see what does healthy look like, what does unhealthy look like, what are some of the solutions, recommendations that your internal coaches can even add so you can pull this into your growth plan. What are some videos that we can watch related to roles? What are some resources, and they could be internal resources? And if all of that doesn't work, then who are the internal Scrum Masters or coaches or managers that can help me improve? And of course, this information would be for every single competency, because we want to create a culture where teams can help themselves, but then only ask for help or ask somebody to come in and help them if all of the resources above was not helpful for them. AgileVideos.com, I hope that you guys join. For any of you that are new to Agile or that have team members that are new to Agile, please check it out. And I also want to just kind of end by saying there is really a new role for Agile managers. I really hope that you take this message and bring it to the managers, which is the work that they did before, which is more around, tactical management, firefighting. That's really gone. We really now want managers to assess and accelerate the performance of teams. We want them to remove obstacles. We want them to develop talent. We want them to support communities of practice. And we really want those teams to be aligned around outcomes, right? We really want them to focus on outcome and value delivery. Something that we started recently, and it's been well received, which is the manager demos to the teams what obstacles they removed, just like the teams demo to the manager what features they produced. So think about that from a cultural perspective. My management team, every quarter, every month, they would share a demo with me, with all of us, and say, team, you said you have the following problems. you told us we need to help you. This is what we have done to help you remove these obstacles, just like the teams are going to demonstrate value delivered. We've actually put specific workshops together for the managers because we realize this is not something that's going to come natural. They're going to have to be trained on it. So that's kind of part of the rollout of AgilityHealth, is really training managers on obstacle removal. And something I wanted to also share is that when we talk about obstacles and writing down these improvement plans, they really need to be specific, like they're a user story. Like, you know how we normally write a user story as a team, you know, as a user, I want to do X, Y, Z, so that the growth items and improvement plans need to be that detailed, and they really need to be something that you can finish and achieve value within the quarter, or even within less than that, within a month or so. Because if you just say, fix our tools, or you know, adopt DevOps, if you make it so general and it's like an epic, it's never going to happen. It's too big. So you really have to think about, in the next month or two, what is it that we can actually make traction on? And just an example here of some of these, a lot of those improvements that are already in the platform. And we, this is another visualization that allows you to take these improvements and put them into progress or done. And we're actually building a Jira integration right now to where you can say, push this to Jira, because I also want to manage it at the team level there. I thought this might be fun for you to see. I took a screenshot from one of our large customers that has 643 teams within AgilityHealth. And I looked at how much they matured over a year. And so they have matured by 17% maturity, and their performance has improved by 5%. I know 5 doesn't look like a lot, but it's a lot when it's across, you know, 500 teams. And you can see how many teams are in crawl, walk, run, or fly in terms of their maturity. But in order for this organization to do everything that you see over here, because this was a lot of effort, they really had to work on a lot of growth items. And so they have 732 growth items in progress right now. They've completed 274 at the organizational, which means the managers remove these obstacles, and they have only 1 at the enterprise level. But I thought it would be helpful for you to see, what's the result of investing in continuous improvement? Well, it's that your teams are really truly going to accelerate their maturity. So my final message is, never punish or reward any teams or their leaders for any results that you see from a measurement platform. Please use it to help them grow. Make sure that you get leaders engaged from the beginning. This is not just a bottom-up thing. Like, you really have leaders engaged. They have to communicate, hey guys, we are doing a continuous improvement program. We want to hear your voice. We want to know what problems you have, because we are here and committed to helping you improve. Not, we're running assessments. I just want you to know, if you go out there and say, we want to run a bunch of assessments, it's gonna be, we call it dead on arrival. It really is a continuous improvement and measurement program that is about removing obstacles and hearing the voice of the team, and not just about running assessments. We also want you to remember that leaders should be owning growth items every quarter. Like, they should own some of these improvement backlogs and commit to action. And please generate excitement and have people be excited about this. And this is a lot of what we see, Fabio, is at the beginning, people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to sit into a meeting where we do this retrospective. And then the minute that we do it, they say, can I have more time, please? Like, we've never talked about some of these things, and this is so important to us. And finally, the elephant in the room is coming out, and people are talking about the real problems that they haven't talked about in their regular retros. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for giving me the time. I'm happy to take questions in the last 5 minutes from anybody, and share.
Sally, thank you so much. You are a great speaker. Thank you so much. Congratulations for your speaker. Wonderful.
Thank you. I know everybody's really tired. It's 7 or 8 p.m. over there, so thank you for sticking with me. I know this is a dry topic, but I hope you learned something from it about measurement and improvements. And I hope that, and Fabio's organization can help you with this, you guys. So Fabio's organization,
for sure.
Yes, they are one of our partners. And so you can reach out to them, and they can do this for, we always say, start with a pilot. Just pick 10 teams or 20 teams and have them do this continuous improvement for you. So I'm excited to see more of that happen in Brazil.
For sure. People can bring me out the opportunities that we can talk about your grow up teens. Sally, we have a question about Wagner. Wagner asking us, could this characteristic be linked to the Henderson-Sellers octopus model? I don't know what is
I don't know what that model is. I would love to say yes or no, but I'm not familiar with that model.
Yeah, I'm not familiar too. Sally, sorry, Wagner. I will research about that, and I'll give you feedback after the Congress. Okay?
Yes.
It's not a problem for us. Sally, we have the last question. When you present the radar of the 8 teams and ask what do first, because the cost, because the budget, several ideas came up. But in fact, it really depends on the context of the company. So is there how to connect these radars to the company's strategy objectives?
Yeah, a lot of what we mentioned before is that when you look at our platform, we put the results from the radar on one tab, and then we put the outcomes of the organization on another tab for the same team. So that, because executives just care about outcomes. They want to know if the strategy is happening, if we're achieving value, if we're really getting business, all of our business results. And what I always tell them is, let's start there then. Let's look at the outcomes and let's see which product lines, which teams are delivering outcomes. And if you don't feel like you're getting outcomes, then let's look at the maturity and the performance of the team, because maturity is a leading indicator for performance, and performance is a leading indicator for outcome delivery. So there is a correlation between those 3 things. Does that make sense? I have to first mature the teams, and then they will perform and deliver output. And then if they deliver output, they will begin to achieve outcomes only if the work that we gave them was the right work for them. So that's the relationship.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much for our time.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for the invitation.